people, we are back. Hello, Matty. How would you think that game played out?
Fairly well. I think that's the most successful round of Phasmophobia I've attempted in my life. I feel like it's kind of a more the merrier scenario.
That's true. I think that's a good example of like how ghost hunting is really a multiplayer situation.
Yeah.
You're gonna go ghost hunting in real life or in video game life. Like, bring a couple friends who have a better idea of what the hell is going on.
at for the least, just for emotional support.
And to hear the scream. I went downstairs and I was like, that was really fun playing the game. My roommates were like, yeah, the whole neighborhood heard you.
It was not me.
It was pretty good. Alright, Maddie, are you ready for your formal Folkwise interview?
I believe so, yeah. I was ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, Shirley, help me do the honors, as mod, of thanking our sleuths.
Yeah, our sleuths work really hard doing the research and thinking of these questions. And so if there's a question that you hear and you're like, damn, that was a good question, don't thank us, thank the sleuths. They're wonderful, amazing, phenomenal, joyful, inquisitive.
Yes.
Research-oriented.
Research-oriented is a good one. Very literal and to the point, yes. Yeah, but you see us, the sleuthing team is not always on screen, so be sure that you thank them if you like what's going on. Libby Tucker starts us off with Love the Green Lips.
Thank you so much. I think it's supposed to be black, but definitely with the lights I have going on, it's giving kind of a green.
Yeah. Hue. That's like my hair sometimes if I'm in the light, because it's black right now, it can be like kind of blue, like super dark blue undertone or something. Yeah. I wonder if it's like that.
Yeah, all right. I think this green back here too probably is influencing.
Everybody's loving your background. It's very good.
All right. Meticulously planned. This is not natural.
Oh my god! Well, I want to see it natural too. We'll do an office tour one of these days. It looks awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Maddie. First question for you.
Yes.
How'd you find folklore, and what made you make it your double major?
Well, some folks already know the answer to this, but it is entertaining because I feel like everyone finding folklore is always a funny story.
Yeah, totally.
For me, so I entered my undergrad, I entered my college wanting to be a childhood therapist, so specifically for teenagers. And I still love teenagers, and I still love working with them emotionally, etc., but it's not my career path anymore. Mm-hmm. But my initial degree is called Family and Human Services. It starts with the letter F. When I'm registering for classes at the University of Oregon, in the drop-down menu on their portal, the category directly below Family and Human Services is Folklore and Public Culture.
That makes sense.
So many a time I would go to click on Family and Human Services, and the screen would jitter and put me down to Folklore and Public Culture. And I saw some of the class titles and went, that's not... I can take a class about that.
There is no way you still call that the screen jittering to you. That is a calling if I have ever... That is the higher power is manipulating the tech. That's awesome.
So technically it was on accident, but as soon as it happened accidentally, I knew that at the very least, if I didn't actually get a major or minor, I had to be involved in some capacity. Otherwise, I'd hate myself forever. So I originally went in to get a minor, and then I accidentally took enough credits to qualify for a major. So I just got the major coincidentally because I wouldn't leave them alone.
Yeah, they do that cool double dipping thing where you can take one class that counts in multiple areas. So yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah, and so technically I have a Bachelor of Science and a Bachelor of Arts because shockingly folklore is only available as a Bachelor of Arts.
Yep. And that's what my degree says too. So it's always cool to hear that that's still a thing you can do at University of Oregon. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely... I finished up my undergrad career during COVID, so that complicated things. But I got the piece of paper. I did graduate, and I do have the papers to prove it.
Hell yeah. What about your idea of folklore as humanity's footprint? How did you come to think of it that way?
Well, I mean, I always think of folklore as the things that people say, do, and create. And so no matter what, it's kind of like an echo of what you've been doing. So if sociology is about what people are doing now, folklore is kind of like what's kind of left in the immediate or further aftermath of that.
Or like in
So
the
like cultural archaeology in a way.
yeah, or like behind the scenes, or the unaddressed, or like the
Yeah.
yeah,
Fingerprints of the UV light that only one team member can see.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's awesome. All right, next question. What is cosmic horror as a genre, and why should folklorists study it?
Well,
that is a big one.
A lot of people, the more colloquial title for cosmic horror is Lovecraftian horror. That's something that people might recognize a little more closely because H.P. Lovecraft is a big dude. He's got big works floating around. I use the word cosmic horror because I think Lovecraft is a dork.
Yeah. Fair enough, fair enough.
And I think other people do it way better than him. But also, nobody owns a genre.
Yeah. It's folklore. It belongs to the people.
Yeah. But cosmic horror, the idea of it is that the horror itself, the thing that makes it frightening to people, is that it is otherworldly in some sense. Like whether it's literal aliens, like extraterrestrials, whether it's space-related phenomena, like solar flares, however they choose. It's kind of a very close cousin of sci-fi. Or it could be a kind of cosmic religion. So an example of that in probably more kind of popular culture media is playing a warlock in Dungeons and Dragons. So you have a pact with a being you don't really understand, you can never understand, and the fact that you can't wrap your head around it is what is upsetting. But I personally think, and the reason I set it up here, the best or my favorite creator of cosmic horror is Junji Ito, the manga artist. So I have up here Uzumaki, which I wrote a term paper on, and it's a cosmic horror story about a town and its people being manipulated into a spiral pattern repeatedly, and it manifests in different ways. And it's horrific. It's a horror story, but it uses something of a very kind of nonchalant symbol that's not inherently evil and makes it evil in a way that you never really get a good explanation for why it's happening. It just is.
That's awesome, and I didn't even have to provoke your follow-up because we were literally going to ask about that paper. I'm so glad that you already brought it up. Yeah, no, that's fascinating. How do you think Uzumaki, and that kind of genre shape symbolism?
I mean, it's I'd say that it is difficult to achieve cosmic horror in a visual medium. So Junji, his work is very, frankly, brave. That trying to take something that is normally because when Lovecraft writes about cosmic horror, he always says that the thing that's happening is indescribable. I couldn't even begin to tell you what's going on, and then he tries to, but
right.
Through words, and so your brain can kind of try to make connections. This is a visual medium, so Junji is drawing and showing you what's happening, but in a way that you still don't really understand what's going on. So I think while it's showing you but not really giving it to you is something that he does very well. And also I like to say, and I think a lot of other Ito fans agree, that there's always one Junji Ito story of his entire work collection that you read once and then you never read again because you can't. And for me, that's a story called Gyo, which means fish. And that story is fucking foul.
Oh.
I hate it so much.
That's totally understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
fascinated by his works, but I am, in fact, too much of a baby to actually read anything of it.
I love that. That's such an interesting...
Especially if you stumble across the one that you read once and you're like, hard pass ever again on the first round. That sucks.
What?
I stumbled upon I'm gonna butcher the name, but the one I referenced in chat, Akuma Falls, I think, with the hole and the earthquake thing. Yeah.
This is for me. This is my hole. Yeah.
This is my hole.
That's
that one did the rounds on Tumblr.
That's when I stumbled upon it, and then I was all like, huh, he has some really good ideas, but dear God, I would like to sleep again in my life. So.
That's such a fascinating position to be in, though. Like, I know I don't experience a lot of that. Like, I don't get scared by stuff easily. I yell because I'm, like, processing things emotionally, but, like, I don't think I'm actually scared. Like,
scared.
I know, or, like, but, like, I would read it anyway. Like, it's so interesting to, like, be in the position of, like, being fascinated and intrigued and excited by shock content, and then to, like, not want to read it again. I get it, yeah.
My experience with anything that's shocking, specifically stuff that's visually alarming, typically, especially if it's in art, so like illustrated gore, what have you, my response to it is very similar to when I was a kid watching America's Funniest Home Videos and being like, oh, wow, and being like, that must have hurt, and then moving on.
Yeah, totally. Well, so this like ties in well with our next question. How does this is great. No, how does the internet facilitate interactions with gore and shock content?
How doesn't it? Is it better?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned
visual.
Yeah,
visual,
I mean, like
whether it's images or video.
You mentioned, America's Funniest Home Videos or something like that's like the television is like creating access to that. It's like, oh, did anybody check in with that person? Like, are they okay? But the internet's different because it's not as curated.
You can't follow up as easily. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch a video of someone having clearly something terrible happen to them in their lives, and then never, even if you try to Google about it, if you reverse image search, sometimes you just don't get to know what happened afterwards. You don't get the aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
Like with something that is specific as television or something like fiction, you have some closure of that wasn't real, or, oh, because they televised this, it must be like a closed case or something. On the internet, who's to say?
Yeah, what do you find so fascinating about gore and shock content and its relationship to folklore?
I think,
like how folklore you're using as a lens to explore that interest.
Well, it's a very big cultural phenomenon. Specifically because folks my age and adjacent, we grew up with the internet, but neither us nor our guardians, through no fault of their own, didn't know how to use it properly. Very few people knew how to use what they had access to everything and no regulations for it. Or if they did, it was just kind of made up on the fly. So gore and something internet scary stuff, like real world, real traumatizing shit, exists on the internet. People know it exists. They don't want to see it and don't want their children to see it, but they don't know where it is. And they won't look for it.
Yeah.
So it becomes a kind of, frankly, a ghost narrative. It's a boogeyman of my kids are going to see this shit. It's out there somewhere. I know it's out there, and they can't prove it, or they don't want to. And so my hope is through the folkloric lens, I'm looking at it as a cultural thing of who's creating this content, who's distributing it, why are they distributing it, why are they consuming it? Because people are regular consumers of this content. There's a market for it. In the effort to shed some light and make it less of a boogeyman. So maybe if we're worried about the safety of it, we can actually do something. We actually have some foothold to grab onto in order to make some sort of changes.
This makes total sense to me. Like, why don't folklorists and like criminologists hang out more? Like, I think you're so right. Like, there is a relationship between knowing something's out there and not wanting to look it up, or being in active trouble for looking it up for the purposes of even like censoring it from other people. Like, there's no way to do that without engaging in the content yourself. And then, so like that's like one community, but then there's the community of people who are creating and putting it online, like, and making it accessible, which is also fascinating. Like, oh, so interesting.
Exactly, right? So it's like, it's this whole thing, and everyone knows it's there, but very few people know where it is or engage with it at all.
And because some of it is like so taboo, depending on what it is, you have to like search around for it. It's not like you can just Google it real quick necessarily if you don't know what you're doing and like gore will pop up. I guess it depends on what we're talking about. They won't be too broad about what gore and shock content is, but
Yeah, and it depends on where you are, too. So I look at it, understandably, from a United States locale, because we live in the United States, and we use our laws to navigate the situation. It'll be different in different locations. So if you're trying to look into this topic, say, from China, where there's heavy regulations on internet usage, if you're looking at it from... I'm trying to think of other... It depends also on the content, because there's always going to be subcategories. But that's a different kind of worms. But it's interesting that you mentioned just Googling it and stumbling across it, because occasionally that does happen. And that's mainly what people like parents are worried about, is that no algorithm is going to be accurate enough to keep you away from this stuff. And every person I've talked to that's a regular internet user, or even an infrequent internet user, can bring up an example immediately of when I ask them, have you ever searched for something or been on a website and seen something that you did not want to see and can't forget?
Oh, I got Zoom bombed. And I saw some shit I wish I didn't see when we got Zoom bombed. It was like at a faculty luncheon. We got Zoom bombed during COVID, and like I saw some stuff I really was not interested in seeing. And that's a little bit different because that's like we didn't search for it. Like we were kind of they basically assaulted with images that we really were not interested in at all. And it's so fascinating. Yeah, like even if you don't want to, it comes up because there's something you're picking up on, something part of the unconscious, or I don't know what it is. Maybe that's my pseudo-Jungian inclinations or something, but...
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned that you felt assaulted, because it really...
I really, in that moment, I did, because a person came on who we did not know and sort of, like, took over the space. I think was part of that. But that's not always what happens when people feel upset by it, but... I did feel that way a little bit.
Violating experience.
Yeah, I felt like totally violated. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that a reason for at least some people that create this content, definitely not all. There's definitely people that ascribing morality to the things that people do on the internet is nigh impossible. Yeah. But I think for folks like akin to Zoom bombers or people that like rig websites to get linked to that could trigger epilepsy with flashing lights.
Yep.
Or fake links that go to videos of traumatic things in other countries, what have you, email chains. Those are malicious in the sense that it is a taking away of your control.
Yeah.
And whether or not that is, legally it's not considered assault, but ethically and morally, there's definitely grounds to argue that, hey, you exposed me to something that I did not bargain for. And could that in the future be implied other things like indecent exposure?
What I saw on Zoom Bomb was a good argument for that, but it was I just thought it was fascinating. Like, what you study is so interesting because so many folklorists are like, look at this fun thing we get to celebrate. And here you are like, this is so obviously part of our everyday experience. Like the fact that when you talk to people, they can pinpoint an example of like shock content or gore that they engaged with, consensually or not, on the internet, is an everyday, communicative, creative expression.
Yeah.
And the community might be internet users, it might be whatever, but like that's like such a fascinating take, and I just appreciate that you study that. You're taking on the heat for people.
Yeah, that was one of my motivations too, is that I don't seek out this content purposefully. I've run into it accidentally many a time. And yet continue to use the internet, whether it's because it's self-flagellatory or not, I'm not sure.
It's interesting, though.
But I think for me, my rationale behind moving forward with this is not only am I interested, but it's also something that, to a degree, I can handle. And a lot of people, understandably and frankly, preferably, cannot. The standard person does not want to encounter things like this and does not want to stick around and see what happens. Certainly not. If they get it, they might just click out immediately if they can.
Right.
If I am able to stick around and maybe jot down a couple of notes and then cause some awareness for people without them having to be exposed, great. That's kind of my harkening back to my human services, if I can be the buffer between a vulnerable party getting more knowledge about something that may or may not hurt them, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Wizard Vendor wants to know, what do you think of creepypasta?
Oh, well, I mean, I am a fan of, they're fictional works, so I enjoy fictional works that explore what could be considered darker aspects of the world, whether it's how realistic it is or not. When I was doing more dedicated human services work, I actually was a part of an after-school girls program, and I was a mentor for kids coming after school, whether it was girls, gays, and theys.
Love it.
And
yeah. Come on,
they would roll throughout their school and talk to me what they cared about, whether it was Minecraft, whether it was their mom telling them to do the dishes. And a large chunk of these girls, gays, and theys would talk to me about creepypastas, and they always had one that they had latched onto, what they claimed to be their favorite character or icon. And so I think of it's almost kind of like at this point like a Marvel cinematic universe of
That's kind of true,
edgy Wattpad characters, and I couldn't be more delighted. As a self-proclaimed edgelord for years and years, I love edgelord shit.
I love that. What's your astrological moon sign again? This is not an official question. This is a Daisy personal insert question. I just wanted to point out that Maddie sent me your whatever it was, your astrological star chart map, and I don't have it off the top of my head, but you're a Gemini with a what moon?
I'm a Gemini sun, Cancer moon, Sagittarius rising.
I love this. Anyway, I was trying to connect. You're like, soft baby, want to care for people, but also let me see all the weird shit so we can talk and think about it. Okay, that's my
I do it under the guise of altruism when really I just want to look at it.
Yeah, well, and your Sagittarius rising is I can do this for the people. This is noble.
True.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, tangent. I have another serious question for you.
Okay.
Why is TikTok such a good performance testing space for clown sonas and cosplays?
You looked at my TikTok, huh?
Maybe.
Well, it's another visual medium. It has the access of many a sound for backgrounds, whether it's copywritten or not, which is nice. Using
That's
copyrighted
true.
music is something you don't get the chance to use on many platforms, like YouTube. You got to insert some stock jazz piano, and that's not really good for your clown sona, is it? Unless that's what you're going for. I don't know. But TikTok really does encourage choreography, which I think whether you're interested in being a baby drag star, or if you're going into a makeup visual medium, whether it's costuming and cosplay, or if you're doing top 10 makeup looks while I paint over someone talking about how their husband's leaving them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Watch a lot of those. I live for the "Am I the Asshole" threads on TikTok. But I think the reason it's so successful is because every 5 swipes or so, you see someone do something that's monumentalously cringy, and so you don't feel alone, even if your video bombs. Not because obviously that you're a bigot, but because maybe you painted kind of wonky and you're also 12.
Yeah,
it's
right.
a very forgiving platform in that sense, where you'll get weird comments and you'll get the standard internet fare of "boo, get off the stage," but you don't feel alone because you see that content in mass. There's the age range is massive on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
My kid cousin's on TikTok and my dad's on TikTok. It's
right.
Everyone's there.
Oh my god, my mom has been DMing me TikToks on Facebook because I deleted my TikTok because I was spending too much time on it. Sorry, I'm in grad school. I'll get back on it soon. I'm sorry. You have to. I'm sorry, Shirley.
I was like, how am I supposed to do this now?
Shirley, you have to send them to me on Instagram or on Discord or do something or on Facebook Messenger. Sorry, I had too many apps. I had to get off. But yeah, no, absolutely. There's such a huge range of ages, but also talents and practicing and experimentation because it's every day.
Yeah, and I studied teenagers for a long time. I still do kind of armchair colloquially, but academically, it is the age range of experimentation. That begins as early as 9. And back at back in the yeehaw days, you'd put on your mom's makeup when you were home alone, and then no one saw you. You just sat there and like kind of stared at the mirror and then took it off again. Now you can upload it to the internet and get judgment from a panel of strangers. Some people think that's amazing, and some people will never ever do it. But the people who think it's amazing, they're gonna figure out through like the public opinion, hey, is this a good idea? Hey, is this not a good idea? And I feel like I'm rambling here, but
No, it makes total sense. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, experimental phases are really fun to, frankly, to watch. And I think TikTok is a really good way just to see people figuring themselves out in real time. So whether it's someone who's 25 and just realized that they have a diagnosis, or if it's someone who's 14 and just found a new TV show, you're seeing that in high concentration.
Hell yeah. Like that answer. All right. I've got one more serious question for you, and then I've got a couple funsy questions. Sound good?
Cool.
All right. What is vulture culture, and how is this related to material culture?
Oh, well, vulture culture is a term, it's usually a hashtag used like in Instagram or Etsy for repurposing of specifically organic materials for craft purposes. So most often this is animal bones or feathers, but it can also be shiny rocks. The idea of like some things that a vulture would pick up. So carrion, some perusers of vulture culture will have a license to pick up, or not a license, to pick up roadkill and use the salvageable parts to create something new. And whether that's them being thrifty or them selling funny witch shit on Etsy, it falls under a pretty wide category. But it's organic materials salvaged naturally, so it's not being a hunter, because you're not actually killing the animal. You're discovering the animal already dead and repurposing its parts.
I love that. Yeah, I'm thinking about, but like not, and you're like incorporating it into your outfit. I feel like people have seen, like, it's not just like the objects, right? Like sometimes it's fashion. Like where does the material culture go?
Well, a lot of people do jewelry. I mean, that's a big thing on Etsy. A lot of people go to Etsy to buy wearable items. So you'll see earrings of vertebrae. You'll see bracelets of made out of like, I've seen. You remember slap bracelets?
Oh my god, yes.
People make slap bracelets out of like weasel skins and taxidermy. That's really funny.
Oh, I think I've seen I've seen those actually. That's so funny.
I kind of want one. It's really funny.
Yeah.
But
which is it? Matt, you make me think of so many things. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be wearables. It can also be like you find a rabbit pelt or a coyote pelt and you turn it into a lampshade. It can be materials for home decor. You see it most often as wearable goods, whether it's clothes or jewelry, but it can also be for home goods. It follows a lot of some people use it to kind of return to like human grassroots or what they believe it to be. So some people try to like, it's not like using indigenous methods. So like if they want to have a water skin, maybe they'll repurpose the bladder of something. That technically falls under vulture culture, but whether or not it's that's appropriation, it really depends. And then the legality of it also depends. My lovely wife whispered from me that actually you need a permit, not a license, to
sure.
like roadkill.
Fascinating,
Important distinction.
Yeah, fascinating though. I'm really glad that you brought up Etsy because it relates to our first funsy question. And I also have a visual for this. I don't know, you can't see it, but what I have now displayed on Twitch is in fact your Etsy shop, Figure One Oddities. Yeah. How did the Etsy shop get started, and what's your favorite project that you've listed or that you've sold? Everybody, check this out. Look at this great stuff, everybody. Look at this. Shirley, drop the link, please. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It got started. I started doing embroidery and cross stitch at the very beginning of COVID. I knew that I needed a physical stimulus to not kill my roommates.
Uh-huh.
And because they're lovely people and don't deserve that.
This is relatable.
So I knew I needed something to do with my hands, and I was in a very limited space and very limited budget. And I learned, luckily, that embroidery materials such as the floss, the thread, and the needles, and the cloth are relatively inexpensive, which I thought was neat. And so I was like, hey, a cheap hobby. We love that. And so I started doing it. And then not only did I start making stuff that wasn't pre-made or pre-designed patterns, but I started making my own patterns and own illustrations. I also made too many of them and did not want to keep them all.
Right, of course.
So I eventually decided to curate a couple of collections, mainly just things that, themes that I haven't seen in embroidery before and thought would be fun and thought maybe other people thought would be fun too. The first series I made was the anatomical series. So it is your visual example. It usually includes an animal bone, and in some of the larger pieces, it'll have the scientific name of the animal that was included. All of the animal bones I include in my pieces are from the area in which I live, the Pacific Northwest, specifically Okanogan, Washington. It's a tannery called Promised Land Tannery, and all their bones are left over from other projects they do. So any animal parts that they have left over, they actually sell in bulk for people like me that do jewelry or art projects.
That's awesome.
This is a beaver tail vertebra. So beavers are not a protected species in Oregon and Washington. They're all over the fucking place. So
yeah, that is so cool.
Thank you. I think so too.
People in the chat are popping off. Must be my dream says the die cry hate one is speaking to me.
That one definitely came to me in a dream. I was thinking of live, laugh, love. What's the opposite?
Die, cry, hate. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I really like that one a lot, and I will notice it is in somebody's cart. So if you want to buy it now, people.
Snap it up.
Yeah, and Wizard Vendor says Maddie showed me a lot of her early work, and even when she was just starting out, they were all really amazing. So. Fantastic work. Fantastic art. I was looking at this too. I was like, shit, maybe I need to buy some shit. I like your anatomical ones. It's really cool.
Thank you. And then I'm doing
awesome.
a couple of other series. I did a series called The Neon Demon. I might still add some new ones, but they're all on black backgrounds and use neon colors. But they depict demonic entities from several cultures. So folklore tie-in.
Hell yeah.
So I have one that is a summoning sigil for Azathoth, which is a the lesser key of Solomon, so a standard old age Bible demon. And I also have the Mananagal from Filipino culture, the vampire who detaches from her waist and flies around with her entrails.
So cool.
And many others. I do have one collection that's going to be coming up soon once I sell off some of my inventory. It is, I'll give you guys a hint, it's botanical, but unexpected.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
So if you like plants.
Me, I like plants. I like so many plants. Oh my! I know. I'm checking out those figure one commissions also.
Oh yeah,
I might commission something from you. That would be really fun. Awesome.
But that's what I do. Yeah, I started it because I needed something to fidget with, and I realized that it made a lot really fast. And I make some designs that I haven't seen kicking around other places. And so if you want, as I say on my Etsy store, if you want something to darken your doorway, peruse my wares, if you will.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Yes, link is in the chat too, so we should be good. Oh, I love that one. Beauty. Yes, Illuminati, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I free-handed this too. I somehow accidentally stitched a perfect triangle without trying.
I was gonna say, the triangle? Like,
I did not go through this.
Wow, that's really good.
I don't know how that worked out for me. By all accounts, it should have looked like shit, but here we are.
Folklorists love a good fiber art, and when it is shock culture, it's even better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I saw your quilting. That shit's nice.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. I would love to make another. I'm gonna make another one. I haven't quite put together the design in my head, but that's on the table.
I thought about sending you a quilting meme the other day of people messing up their quilts.
Yes!
It just stress you out.
No, you should totally send it to me. I don't feel that way at all. People get really I want to say perfectionistic, but I'll also say Virgo about it. And they get really like into making everything perfect. I'm a little less that way.
Yeah. I'm full Gemini where I can fuck something up and then I'm over it in 10 minutes.
I love that.
I'll be devastated for
Love
10
that
minutes. But as soon as
for
that
you.
timer's over, I just go, ugh.
That's awesome. Alright, I got another fuzzy question for you.
Yeah.
If you were a non-player character in a video game, what would your stock line be?
Oh,
Like,
if
what
you
would be-
walked past me but didn't talk to me, what would come up over my head?
Yes. Or like, what would you want? You bump into someone, and would you say arrow to the knee or whatever? I've taken arrow to the knee.
That's a tricky one. Let's see. Probably. Are you gonna be needing your bones anytime soon?
Oh my god, that's so good. That's it. You don't no need for refining. That was perfect. That's very good. That's very good. Very good. Next one. A. Can you show us your cat?
I can try.
You can
He's gonna
try.
hit me and pick that.
Okay, if it's too
Okay.
much, that's okay.
I can try to abduct her real quick.
Yes! Abducting cats, abducting cats. We love when cats are on the screen. Cat, 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 cat.
The assist.
Where's my cat? My cat's gone. Yes! Yes!
This cat is Hamantashen. Her name's Tasha for short.
Oh my gosh.
Aww.
You gotta move faster than that.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, look at this cat. Alright. So that was part A. Part B is what other comfort foods would you name your cat after?
Oh, well, that's a collaborative effort. The idea off of Jewish or Yiddish food was the influence of my fiance. But if I had to say, specifically the cat names I really enjoy, I mean, I love her name and I think it suits her very well.
Oh yeah.
I love bland people names as cat names. So Susan, Michael,
Yes. Michael. George.
Tatum.
Yeah, John.
Phil's a good one.
Phil's a good one. Yeah, love that.
But other comfort food names, I mean, a lot of them end up being Jewish foods. So we had rugula, we had
That's so cool. That's a cute name.
babka.
Babka's a really good one.
Or she
Aw.
come say hi.
Oh my
Kitty.
gosh, maybe my cat has run away. We just put a table together, and so my cat is enjoying being tall now.
Tasha has fled the scene, but she's pissed at me now. But she'll
Aw.
forget. Tasha is easily the most high femme cat I've owned or met in my life.
That's
She
awesome.
is a cis woman.
I love that. I love that for your cat.
She's Yog-Sothoth for sure.
You ossified the cat. I love that so much. All right, I've got one more funsy question for you, and then I have a game for us to play. So our last question is, why do you think Tootsie Rolls are the worst Halloween candy?
I mean, it's obvious because they're fucking disgusting.
That's fair. What is it?
You're
They
fired.
stick in your teeth, and not only are they a bad flavor, they get stuck in there, and getting rid of the flavor takes forever.
It is always
So
messed up.
Accidentally eat a Tootsie Roll, like if it had a Tootsie Roll pop and you didn't read the label beforehand, happened to me several times. Thought it was like a blow pop, it was not. And then you bite into the Tootsie Roll, and you just cannot. It's a hex. You can't get it out.
Yeah, you really just can't. You really can't get it out.
It's just mud glue in the form of candy.
Yeah, a Weck bro says they don't even taste like chocolate. I agree. Thank you, first time chatter.
They're the only thing that they don't taste like anything but themselves, and they themselves are wretched.
Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Foul, wretched, putrid, any name you can think of.
Wonderful. I'm going to share screen to you really quick so we can get this game going. But Shirley, would you like to do the honors of explaining to the chat how this is different than usual?
We have a tier list.
You're like laughing way too hard back here.
Have we made a tier list before?
Oh Christ! Yes, I have.
Okay, well, we're not doing that today. Today, instead, we're going to be playing Smash or Pass. Eldritch Horror Edition.
And
So,
on this, yeah,
hear ye, all ye monster fuckers. Today is your time to shine.
Alright.
when I saw this, I almost fucking died. So, yeah, so we've never played...
the name of the stream today?
What?
The name of the stream being, ooh, this ghost is cute?
Maybe. Only I was a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit about phasmophobia, a little bit about this.
Daisy made their board say, "Where are you on the monster fuck spectrum?"
That is more the reference there, but for people who don't know, a portion of shock culture or just internet monster culture, legend culture, whatever, cosmic horror is that sometimes the monsters are sexy. And so we thought...
Most of the time the monsters are sexy.
We thought you, better than anyone else, would be able to determine whether or not these particular Eldritch Horrors are smashable or passable. Alright? Are you ready?
1 second. Time to get thirsty. Alright, let's do it.
Alright. Please, let me do this. Alright, number 1, we got Cthulhu, right out the gate.
Is this on a scale of 10?
No, it's either say
right,
smash or pass. You say yes, no, and
fail class.
Yeah.
I'll go with a smash, yeah.
Yeah, alright. Anything in particular about Cthulhu? Just the general vibe?
I mean, he is still very much humanoid, so that helps his case a lot.
True.
Let's see.
There's a very small human for scale here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all can see that on Twitch, but that is the human. This is Cthulhu.
Absolutely.
I know he'd probably be capable of speech, or at least speech that you can understand within your feeble little brain somehow through cosmic means. So I like a good conversationalist.
All right, that's good. That's good. All right, up next we got Shub-Niggurath.
That's a tough one.
Or Niggurath, sorry. I put an A on the end there for some reason.
This one because I can't imagine hooves I want to hold a hand in the hoof.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah, we don't want to hold hoof. We want to hold hand.
Yeah, I mean I can make it work, but it's feel like I don't want to have to make it work.
I get it. I totally get it.
That's
how about Azathoth?
What's that mouth do though?
What that big mouth do though?
I mean, he is so infinitely large. You don't really have to look at him. So
Indigo Circuit, who followed us earlier. Thank you for the follow way earlier before the stream started. But says smash their first contributions.
So yeah, I think he's big enough that you can't really comprehend what's going on. This illustration wouldn't even matter. So you could be in love with an idea.
Big hole energy.
I love that. I do love that.
Yeah, big hole energy. Right.
Oh my god, we're gonna get canceled. This has been like the most risque stream, except for the one time we did the second tier list with Joel that I won't mention again. You can watch the episode with Joel if you want to see that. Up next we got Yog-Sothoth.
Yog-Sothoth. Let's see. Look at the scale here. So he's definitely comprehensible. I'm seeing a tentacle theme here, which is anticipated.
There's a form that may dissipate.
That's fair. Yeah, seems to kind of go
but
up.
Also maybe has a solid form at some point.
You know, we love a responsive lover.
We like a lover who can subliminate into the clads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know.
My fiance from the other room just called. Sorry, I can't be him.
Oh my.
I'll go with the smash. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Up next.
Oh, smash! Duh.
Whoa! I was trying to say you had to say the name. Dagon.
That's in Shape of Water. He's great.
Shape of Water. Let's go. All right.
Yeah.
He's a early monster though.
Indigo Circuit, the ethereal reach around. Oh my god. Get out of here. that was we have had on this show before a straight to D moment with Lamont Jack Pearley, who said, "Please you send that guy right to D" during his interview. But Maddie, we've never had a smash, obviously, like right out the gate. So I think this is a right to smash moment.
He's showing ass. So.
Yeah, look, his booty is like just above the wires a little bit.
It looks like this would be an Instagram photo that he has a caption on that says like aiming for success. Heart emoji.
Oh my god.
Bless up.
I love it.
You Your engagement photos could be like a parody of those, single guy holding a fish.
Oh my god. I love that.
He's holding me instead.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tom said, damn, Dagon, low-key yeeked up.
Russia, the fish holds you.
The fish holds you.
Yes.
So,
All
like
right.
a lover.
Up
Or
next.
he is your lover.
We have Slenderman.
I'm going to pass because he
sorry.
he seems into kids. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm into that.
fair.
He murders children.
He,
That's
he murders them. That's
And a face is important to me. There's been a lot of eyes and teeth in past contestants.
True.
He's
This
got
one is
neither, so
none.
that's a downside.
true. Damn, Slenderman.
Ooh,
Get out of here.
ooh.
You're like a little too normal, but also not enough.
I wouldn't want to date someone famous.
Damn.
Yeah.
Indigo Circus says Hulk smash for Slenderman, so there's some contentiousness in the
On
chat.
one of those invite-only dating apps for like celebrities.
Slenderman has to message you first, like Hinge.
Yeah.
Or no, like Bumble.
Shirley, I'm so glad that you're here for this. All right. Well, damn. Up next, we got Vecna.
I was gonna which Vecna we were talking about because there's a difference here.
Vecna.
Now this plays into my personal preference
Oh,
I'm
tell
pass.
us.
because I cannot stand meaty bodybuilder types. He is too meaty.
Too meaty.
Too meaty.
Okay,
Too meaty.
that's fair.
He's too thick delicious. He's got no neck. I don't like that.
A Weckbro said, "Hard pass, babe. Please no." I assume that's your wife. And Wizard Vendor said, "Smash. I'm sorry, the meat." So for opposite reasons, they're absolutely smashing, and they redeemed 100 ladder points for highlighting that message. So they really wanted me to say it.
Hold up. Is this specifically Stranger Things Vecna, or are we also folding in D&D Vecna? Because these are two
That
very
changes
different.
things.
See, it changes things, doesn't it? One
does,
is an actual Eldritch God, and the other is some whiny white boy incel.
Good point.
Some guy in a meat suit.
Good point.
Yeah.
I am going to say based on the image that is chosen, we're gonna go with Vecna as portrayed by whatever the fuck the actor's name is in Stranger Things.
Boo. Pass.
All right.
He's homophobic.
The Beholder.
In a shocking turn of events, I'm going to pass, despite the number of eyes and teeth.
What?
Because
That
This is
okay?
my least favorite monster in the D&D bestiary.
Explain.
Why? They make some really goofy expressions that I can't get behind. And there's too many versions of them. So there's beholders, there's gazers, there's seers. Some guy was just like, here's an idea, let's make it 7 more times. And that's lazy and I don't like it.
I'm like crying. The people, your friends in the chat are being hysterical. Too sharp, bad, sloppy, awful sloppy. That's like
yeah, he looks like...
that's how I talk to
he
people.
looks like he smell great, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Vecna can't smell good. Sorry.
Rotting meat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rotting meat plus like teenager BO, pass.
Not good. Okay. Beholder, pass. All right.
For her pass.
Ramiel.
Ayo.
What was that?
Smashed.
Smash! Look at this cuboid. This
Yeah.
Love
He's
the
minimalist.
shape.
angled being. Explain.
He's minimalist. You know, he doesn't need to prove himself. He
I-
is who he is, and he's authentic, and I appreciate that.
Angel. Let's go.
Exactly. Angels. How are you to expect anything better than a biblical angel? If you want something better than an angel, I don't know.
What's better than this? Angels being angels.
What's better than this?
See how forced your service is.
I
All right.
love a husband that I can walk around in like a penthouse mansion.
How about an actual anglerfish?
Pass.
Too small. Okay. The other ones were really
dark in the ocean. Can't see him.
Yeah, you can't go on a date unless there's like, only 10% vision or whatever.
Although I
like,
do respect
depth of
the
field.
idea that I could just fuse into her side and become a pair of gonads forever. I'd like that simple life.
That is what Mario has made a very fair point about. Mario said you don't want to fuse with your partner, so that is a fair point here.
I think we do actually have to question whether or not an anglerfish can pass the Harkness test.
Explain for people who don't understand what the Harkness test is.
The Harkness test is essentially the test of monster fucker consent.
That's fair.
Elaborate?
Is the being of age of its species, and are you and it able to communicate in such a way where consent can be freely given and understood?
Very
fair. And I do not believe that a real world fish would be an appropriate partner. You're absolutely right.
I think that's a very good assessment for this particular Smash or Pass game.
Yes.
Pass on anglerfish. What about Kirby?
That's big hole energy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Speaking of
Big
holes.
stuff for sure. Let me see. It's interesting. It's interesting because I don't know if Kirby has a canonical age, but I do know that he is very infantilized in gameplay. You know, I'm thinking
True.
of like Yarn World, or what was it called? Epic Yarn. Kirby's Epic Yarn, one of the best games of all time. Very much a baby fun wee game. So maybe he just likes to have fun and he is a grown consenting adult. Or he might be a child. In that case, a child would be passed if he's full grown and can make his own consenting decisions. Smash.
Very fair. I like that. I like that assessment. And last but certainly not least, Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Pass. Toss
He's
him.
a racist, he's dumb, he's shaped like an egg.
Pass. Put this fucking egg in the garbage where he belongs.
You're not
Boo.
supposed to mind this cat.
Bro's got no lower lip. That's a red flag. Ugh.
I'm
Ugh.
fucking crying.
Hate this man.
All right, y'all. On a scale from H.P. Lovecraft to one of his wonderful, beautiful, beyond the world creations, how fuckable of a monster are you? That's what I say on this. Matty, thank you for playing this game with us. Thank you for being such a wonderful guest on our show, a silly little show that we do on Tuesday nights. This is like a funny. I've been laughing about this one for weeks. I don't know if anybody's been clipping that, but like, I want to say do it, but also do not. Like, who will be watching this? I don't know. I hope they understand the context.
Oh man.
And if
But
they don't, you know what? Just Google it and try not to click on any weird links.
Just Google it and don't click on weird links. Honestly, if that's not the message of your interview,
I need to get that tattooed on my body.
you really
Don't
should
click on any weird links.
Google it and don't click on a weird link. That is great advice.
That's it, baby.
Specifically from Matty Howard. Thank you for being, again, just a wonderful guest and being a folklorist and being on our show and spending time with us, play Phasmophobia and all that jazz. Everybody, if you haven't done it already, you know what to do. Ladders in the chat for Matty. If you don't have ladders, do some hearty GGs as we do in the gamer community.
The gay community.
The gay community. It's that's double gay, okay? GG is double gay. So if you do that, nice. Nice. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Quilts have had meaning on many levels. Making quilts helped me to get a sense of my own space, sense of finding my way, sense of really working my way out of the labyrinth.